Hello, everybody, this is TV1, and welcome back. It is another The Hub podcast. I'm sorry I haven't done one of this. The last time I've done one of these podcasts has been back in 2014, I'm pretty sure, and this is number 6. Obviously, last time was number 5. So we're going back into it. It is currently Valentine's Day as of this upload, I'm pretty sure. Well, as of recording of this, it is Valentine's Day 2015, and I am here to do a little podcast for you guys. I thought, you know what, be appropriate. As of, I haven't done one in a while, like, 2.5 months. How long has been, I've just lost track of, basically. Well, obviously not been 2.5 months. It's been a little less than 2 months. Anyway, I know I like doing these podcasts, so I'm back again with the one. It's just that it takes me a while to record it. But, of course, everything else, it's pretty okay on effort-wise. I've got a lot of time off, so I'll probably get one of these up next week as well. And I did promise you in other videos that I would do one of these. So here you go, guys. Let's go and, get into my major news stories. Okay, so as I said in my last few wrestling videos, my Royal Rumble 2015 review, which revolved around this man here you see on this picture, Roman Reigns, the Samoan, heritage, lineage of Samoan, former Shield member, Roman Reigns, winner of the Royal Rumble 2015. Okay, I'm going to talk about this guy today on the show. Whatever I want to say about him, I'm going to let out. Okay. So, yeah, he won the Royal Rumble 2015. When Daniel Bryan defeated Seth Rollins on Raw a couple of weeks ago, he earned the right to face Roman Reigns at Fastlane with the number 1 contendership for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Despite the fact that both Roman Reigns and Bryan are faces, there is plenty of heat between them and Raw, as the build towards Fastlane kicks into another gear. Pitting two faces against one another and creating a compelling story can be very difficult, but it is clear they would be committed to making Reigns versus Bryan work. This is from Bleacher Report, and you can go check that out online. It's one of the first matches you get when you search this up. The Authority forced the two superstars to team up twice on Raw, and there were predictably some issues along the way. At one point, Bryan accidentally drop-kicked Reigns. Following the main event, they exchanged words and got into a shoving match, and Reigns ultimately speared the leader of the Yes movement. Okay, so this all happened back on Raw. I said I was going to talk about, stuff that happened on Raw, watch it. I know I didn't watch this Raw, but I'm going ahead and talk about what happened. Before this, my opinion on the whole Roman Reigns thing, I talked about it on Raw, on the Royal Rumble review quite quickly and unsignificantly, but today I'm going to start going into more depth about my opinion on Roman Reigns. This man himself, what have we been talking about to this guy? He's been the Shield, of course, and he was a face. Well, heel face. Yeah, mostly he was a face. He went in, and this is sort of going into mid-2014. He started to go single career. Obviously, Seth Rollins splitting up the team there. And then we got in to see him go his own way, become more of a main eventer and a leader of matches and having a great spot on the show. Most Raws, he was getting put forward by the whole team at WWE. He was basically being pushed, as of course the fans would, the fans themselves. They want to. They know that someone's they know that when the creative team are pushing someone, they feel that it shouldn't happen or whatever. It's very weird that way it goes on. Of course, this is put pretty well in Triple H's. Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast with Triple H. They talk about. I kind of listened to it for about half an hour or something like that, and yeah, Roman Reigns is getting pushed by the creative team, and of course you're going to have a lot of people who are vocal and do not want this to happen or do not want it to go the way it has gone, or the way Roman Reigns has pushed this big gigantic baby face, just like just like John Cena. Really, they're very comparable people, and they do have a lot in comparison, but you can never really say they're the same person. They're not being pushed the same way, really. And again, the crowd are reacting quite similarly, but again, there's so much difference between these two guys. You can't compare them in the sense that their type of wrestling is the same. I think that their mic skills are different. Roman Reigns definitely needs to work on his mic skills a little, and he's improving everything as he's going along. Since mid-2014, when he's been put into this more of main event position, he's had to go along with it and work on everything that he needs to do in order to be a sellable star. And he's already sort of got to the level where a lot of younger audience members are thinking, what a great guy, this guy's going to make it in a WWE, and he's going to be the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion. 2015 could be a great year for Roman Reigns, and obviously we know this going from Royal Rumble, which was obviously on. It sort of signified the direction the WWE are taking. But is that so? Because, well, you're not really sure, because when I was talking about this on Raw a couple of Raws ago, this Raw, the latest Raw, Daniel Bryan has been put into position, and this has been going on since a few weeks ago, just after Royal Rumble. Really, Daniel Bryan, the guy that the fans are even more engaged with than Roman Reigns, in my opinion. They have his bigger following. He has the audience go crazy for him. He's that one guy that the Authority have put down, and is one guy that the crowd, the fans, have completely got behind and have pushed themselves. While Roman Reigns, on the other hand, has taken another approach to it all, and he's just been put into a different position where he is being pushed towards WrestleMania, main event, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot of roadblocks in the face of him, but he's going to have to roll with it because that's the way it's gone. The crowd, on the other hand, have gone from a different side point. They've seen Roman Reigns just being pushed out of the blue, and again, he has been on whatever NXT. He's worked his way, really got picked up by WWE. I don't think he has the same respect as maybe other superstars, of course, of not really being on the independent scene, sort of just been plucked into NXT. Unlike Daniel Bryan, who's been working for 15 years beforehand. Yeah, so it's definitely a controversial thing. Daniel Bryan, he's a 2-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, obviously, for a short period on his first championship reign, and his second time he had quite a bit longer, but obviously was taken off him by the Authority. It was a storyline, but also went into real world, and since then it's been an uphill battle for Daniel Bryan. Obviously, he's definitely been pushed, of course, defeating Seth Rollins. But again, you're pitting him up against Roman Reigns, and this is where the interest from me is going up and up and up. And we've got really, really an interesting matchup at Fastlane, if we see it, and it's of course Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the number one contendership for Brock Lesnar, going to WrestleMania 31. A very important match. And again, we want to know what's going to happen, because you can draw a lot of similarities. I can draw a lot of similarities to WrestleMania 30. I watched it. It was great. New Orleans. It was an anniversary. It was perfectly put. Spectacular. And we saw a triple threat, didn't we? We saw Batista, and we saw Randy Orton, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at the time, and against Daniel Bryan in that triple threat. Beforehand, we also got Daniel Bryan having to qualify against Triple H. Triple H, is he going to go and be involved in this? Are we going to see a triple threat? We're going to see Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Brock Lesnar, possibly. Are we going to see Roman Reigns going against Brock Lesnar? Again, possibly. And are we going to see Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar? Possibly. Again, the Authority are getting involved here, and Triple H is one of those superstars. He's unpredictable. You don't know whether he's going to go in and fight them, or where he's going to take a backstage seat here. And of course, Triple H is already involved in his own storyline with Sting, so we could see him take a step back from this, but have people come on. You know, we've got Seth Rollins. He's that unpredictable variable in this whole, that's in the constant that is Brock Lesnar, and then you've got the variable, which is Seth Rollins. And we all know that Roman Reigns is probably going to make it to WrestleMania, and definitely a future World Heavyweight Champion. We all know that Daniel Bryan is possibly pretty much likely to be a future World Heavyweight Champion once again. A 3-time champion, that's coming up. we all know that Brock Lesnar is gonna have to defend it, and whether he's gonna lose the title, it's quite obvious that we have to have someone built up. So far, we've gotten Roman Reigns, who has had a story of being for the WWE. He's a great asset of theirs, and we've got Daniel Bryan, who's had a great long storied of WWE career, and of course, is Roman Reigns ready to prove it? That's one variable in the situation you got here, and of course, is Daniel Bryan going to do it? Daniel Bryan is this one hope story that everyone's gotten behind. The reason he's gotten so popular is because he hasn't been pushed by the WWE in the same way that anyone else that they want to get there has been. He's been that undeniably underdogged person that has worked so hard, worked his ass off to get to that position, and has been put down each time, and in somewhat relatable fashion, he's gotten all his big spots taken away from him. I mean, a lot of what he has done in the WWE has been to no avail, and finally he gets his big spot, and then the Authority somehow intervene, and the Authority inevitably win at the end. Now, that was a year ago. And since then, Daniel Bryan has been on the uphill battle, and he's completely gotten back into the position where he can wrestle at 31. The question is, how are WWE going to do this? Because they've got a problem on their hands right now, where Daniel Bryan is getting cheers, Roman Reigns is getting a mixed reaction, possibly more boos, but again, that's developing as we're going along. Seth Rollins is a heel, Brock Lesnar is a heel. But again, Brock Lesnar is one of those people that you can definitely put in the main event, and will give you a big cheer, a big crowd reaction. Really, they teamed up, of course, on Raw, and once again on SmackDown to run through a tag team tournament match that concluded when they defeated Big Show and Kane. Although they were able to coexist to some degree, it was obvious throughout the match that they were trying to one up each other. So this is WWE trying to show us that we've got some great talent in both, and they're trying to showcase both. I think that they're doing a good job with Roman Reigns. He's of course being put up as a very good star, and Daniel Bryan, he's got a sort of new edge to him, which I think adds to his character completely. The fact that he is put down last year, and this year, it's his year. He knows it. The crowd are even more behind him than before. He's been out for so long, but again, they're still there for him. Both men desperately want to challenge Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania, and they have shown no misgivings about going through each other in order to do so. It is a very, very interesting storyline going into 31. This has been put perfectly last year, 30. WrestleMania 30. The whole lead up to that, the whole road to WrestleMania was quite predictable. We saw, Batista win. Of course, we didn't want to see Roman Reigns win that time. We did, but Batista won. Since then, you could see Daniel Bryan would make it. Of course, he had the big battle with the Authority last year, and of course, he finally went face to face with Triple H and had a match, and of course, he won. Randy Orton, Batista, and Daniel Bryan, and as we see. Batista, who was sort of a heel, Randy Orton, who was sort of a heel, and then you get the face, Daniel Bryan. WrestleMania 30, a perfect position to have Daniel Bryan win that WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and what happened? We got that. Of course we did. And the crowd were behind it, and of course it was going to happen. It was a WrestleMania moment to be remembered. This year, however, we have a lot of different variables, and it sort of follows a different path in order to get to the same area. We want to see a babyface victory, don't we? So, in order to get that, what we're going to get is Daniel Bryan winning, possibly Roman Reigns getting a big spots, whatever, but inevitably we want to see a victory of a babyface. Now, I think John Cena is definitely going to distance himself from that whole World Heavyweight Championship spotlight. Obviously, you've seen him in 30 obviously going against Bray Wyatt in no championship match, and but he was last time he was really in a spot like that was 29, and now in 31 he's going up against Rusev. I mean, we're obviously seeing that happening, and this year we're going to see a lot more variables. We're saying this quite a lot. We got Seth Rollins, who's just a guy that. He's a guy that, he split up with the Shield. He broke down the Shield, and he inevitably let the Shield down, in his opinion. So we got Roman Reigns, who could be going after Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has always been trying to distance himself from the Shield members, but Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins are inevitable enemies. And in the end, if Roman Reigns goes up against Seth Rollins in any case, you're going to have to cheer for Roman Reigns, and that's where the crowd are going to start cheering for him. Superman punch, whatever he wants to do. It would be a great moment to have, and of course, in what the way is going on, I really don't know how. We got the Roman Reigns, we got Daniel Bryan, we got Brock Lesnar, and then where does Seth Rollins fit in with any of this? When is he going to cash in? Obviously, I think that, in my opinion. I mean, who's he facing at? Of course, Fastlane. We're not sure, but again, it just really falls in anywhere. The story between Reigns and Bryan thus far has been a simple one, but it has certainly resonated. It has allowed Reigns to become more a tweener due to Bryan's popularity, and there's added to his character. Even Bryan has shown his certain edge as well, which is a bit of a departure from his normal gimmick. Neither Reigns nor Bryan is allowed the term face or heel to limit what they can do, and blurring the lines in what has made them thus far the most interesting angle going in WWE. WWE has also drawn on the real life concerns some fans have by having Bryan carry most of the load in the ring. Bryan has made that fact against Reigns, and should add even more fuel to their rivalry, with Bryan making the WWE Universe question Reigns' readiness for the main event scene. It will mean that much more when they put on a spectacular match at Fastlane. Of course, I talked about that. Reigns and Bryan's interactions have been nothing short of compelling, and they will be solely responsible for the success of Fastlane. On the heels of Triple H challenging Sting to a face-to-face meeting at Fastlane, the vigilante Sting responded on Raw. The game demanded to know if Sting intends to appear at the upcoming pay-per-view, and has got his answer in an elaborate manner as 3 Sting lookalikes played mind games with Triple H before the Icon accepting the challenge through a video package. So yeah, sorry, I just got into the next article there, but let's take a look at let's do my opinion firstly of the Roman Reigns incident. What's going on? Not an incident, but the Roman Reigns thing. What else are you going to think of? But again, Daniel Bryan, right? He is the fans' favourites, and inevitably, I think he's going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns, is he ready for the push? In my opinion, no, he's not. I don't know. I just don't think that he has the complete. He's the look. His skills in the ring, I think, still need more work. And I don't think that a story is really great enough for me to believe totally in. His mic work needs more work, of course. But again, if they were to put him in WrestleMania at a smaller match, yes, that would be good. Not for the actual World Heavyweight title, of course. They're going to have to find some way of getting him out of that title match. And for me, in my opinion, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they actually give him that title match at WrestleMania. So he's been put in a position where, obviously Daniel Bryan beat Seth Rollins to face Roman Reigns at Fastlane. It's going to be a very interesting one. Obviously, I'm going to watch that on the network. And on top of all that, we know that, Seth Rollins can come back from that. We know that Roman Reigns has one opportunity. We know Seth Rollins has one opportunity now. And we know that Daniel Bryan really has one opportunity. If he doesn't win this year, we could see him potentially going on after that. But the crowd will be even more behind him as before. Well, probably not the same. But if you get rid of this, if you stop this, the yes movement can't last forever. So you're thinking, if Daniel Bryan doesn't win this year, where is he going to go from there? You really want to give him a good spot because he's your top face in the company, and if you don't roll with him, then you're making a big mistake in terms of how things are going. And I just think that, well, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, will that sell? Probably not. But will Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar sell? You never know, really. At WrestleMania, of course, it's gonna be anything that the fans are gonna get. They're gonna get. They've paid for their tickets, and the main event needs to work. And a triple threat for me, I just don't think that would work too well. They did it at 30, and this year to have a repeat of a triple threat, I don't know if that should be. I want a singles match. The thing is, I think I want two of the biggest icons to go on and together for that title, and it's going to be Brock Lesnar, and it's going to be someone else. And Fastlane is going to be a big reminder that only Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan can make it. And for me, at Fastlane, we all know which way it's going to go. Daniel Bryan is going to win. And come on, guys, Daniel Bryan for WrestleMania. That's the thing that everyone's looking at. The Authority are looking at Seth Rollins, but the variable is Seth Rollins. Anyway, guys, that's just a little bit of talk from me. I'm just reading from the side, of course. I told you guys it is the one and only Bleacher Report here. I was watching Raw. Well, I was watching Superstars, and it gave us a little recap on Raw. They had a little showcase of Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. They did a little bit of mic work, just a little bit, and just shared their opinions on everything that was going on here. Daniel Bryan obviously comes in and is sort of just there, you know. Anyway, the Authority are facing off against Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, really showing no like to either of them. But of course, the Authority are going to have to back one of either. Because look, we've got Roman Reigns and we've got Daniel Bryan. Cannot have the Authority just be watching on forever. They're going to have to choose a side and go with it. And then we can see the heel turn approach. Roman Reigns, they're never going to get behind Daniel Bryan. And you know, you don't want to see Daniel Bryan come a heel. So there you go. Just a little bit of thought going in there in this podcast, guys. Yeah. Roman, should he ever win the Royal Rumble? Personally, if this direction that WWE are going in, they wanted to show us, well, this is the direction they were going with. I mean, they've got Rock going on Roman Reigns' side. Very interesting. I think this whole direction is very interesting and unique. And it shouldn't be in this way, but the crowd knew it were going to be this way, and they knew this is the way it was going to be pushed. So of course they went a sort of inevitable way, and really I don't think that they could have done much else. Now let's talk about Fastlane. What we have Triple H versus Sting. We have, well, when is this? Like a week away or something? 2 weeks away? Whatever it is. It's not this weekend, and it might be next. I'll watch it on the network, of course. But anyway, Triple H is the game, and he's representing the Authority versus Sting, Vigilante Sting. This guy has been coming in. I'll talk about this right now. Basically, the initial story of this is that he's come in Survivor Series and stopped Sting, Triple H from getting his way every single time. It feels such Triple H feels he's at the hands of the Vigilante Sting, and of course Sting has come in and he's just very mysterious, and you don't really know much about him. And here he is, and he's up there, and there's Triple H, and again he agreed to the match. So it's a very interesting and unique concept. Well, not unique in the way that the powerful Authority are at the hands of a very unique opponent, a guy who's never been in WWE before, finally making his debut, and I didn't even know if he can wrestle or whatever, but here he is agreeing to that match at Fastlane. Now that the confrontation between Sting and Triple H is official, this is according to Bleacher Report, that figures to be one of the most highly anticipated aspects of Fastlane, with Sting having foiled the Authority's plans on multiple occasions, and one can only assume a WrestleMania match is on the cards. Fastlane is a perfect opportunity and venue to make it official, and that is likely what will happen, since that will be a major draw in terms of influencing those who have the WWE Network for free in February to pay for it in March. That's obviously going to lead on from that. Having a segment involving Sting and Triple H at Fastlane makes all the sense in the world, because even more eyes than usual will be fixed on it. With that said, it can definitely be argued that WWE would have been better off leaving the Sting and Triple H rivalry untouched until Fastlane. The Raw segment wasn't overly effective, given Sting wasn't actually there, and it isn't a stretch to say that it was corny at best. This is according to Bleacher Report. Having to Sting accept Triple H's challenge allows WWE to advertise the face-to-face encounter as a sure thing, but would have been more intriguing to leave some level of doubt. Most viewers would have been expecting the Vigilante to appear at Fastlane, and it would have made for a cool moment when he ultimately showed up. Essentially, the segment on Raw was just a product of WWE wanting to keep Sting's name at the forefront with WrestleMania approaching, and of course a big name going into that WrestleMania scene. WWE has also seemed to be like the idea of keeping Sting mysterious and ominous. There is nothing to dislike about that he is the greatest success in WCW with a similar character. At the same time, it simply wasn't believable that Sting would create a video package and hire stunt doubles in an effort to get inside Triple H's head. The confrontation and Fastlane should be entertaining and one of the show's highlights, but WWE should have taken a less is more approach to get there. Okay, another match going into Fastlane, of course, is John Cena and Rusev, and they've been odd since having made a backstage dust up at the Royal Rumble. It was announced on the following night that they would have a match at Fastlane, built towards that bout continued on Raw, with Rusev and Lana focusing on Cena's veteran status, where Cena made it clear that he wasn't ready to give up a spot. That argument resulted in a brawl that increased tension ahead of the pay-per-view. Any feud involved Cena is bound to be treated like a big deal by WWE, especially around WrestleMania time, according to Bleacher Report. Cena was in a similar situation last year, and he was away from the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and feuding with the young up-and-comer in the form of Bray Wyatt. That rivalry focused on Cena's status as a top guy and a legacy within WWE. This ultimately resulted in Cena beating Wyatt at WrestleMania 30 and coming out on top in their feud. Rusev is fast rising heel in his own right, and taking on Cena could be a huge turning point in his career. With that said, there is reason to be concerned about him exciting this feud looking strong. The Bulgarian Brute seems likely to win at Fastlane in some fashion, but as tough is it to envision it happening cleanly. If this is the case, then there is almost no doubt that Cena will win at WrestleMania and overcome the odds yet again. Wins or losses are one thing, but the very crux of the feud between Cena and Rusev is somewhat confusing. The basis of Rusev's character at this point has been his hatred for the United States. Some might say that the character has been done before, but it's clearly effective. Cena, on the other hand, is arguably the most patriotic superstar on the roster, and is evidenced by the work he does with the troops. That would seem to suggest that Cena versus Rusev should be about Cena standing up for his country. Instead, WWE has decided to go back an all too familiar well, with Cena protecting his spot on the card from a hungry young challenger. It's not necessarily a bad angle, but has already had many times before. Having Cena play the patriotic face would be a bit of a departure from the norm, and it would be the perfect way to get even some of his most ardent detractors on his side entering WrestleMania. Yes, so big matches going on here. And of course, I agree with the Bleacher Report on some respects of what they're saying. Of course, they need to take this whole storyline with John Cena and Rusev and maybe shake it up a little. For me, it seems a little, I don't know. it seems a little repetitive, of course. And of course, we know that an outcome at WrestleMania after Fastlane, whatever result we're going to get there, could be quite obvious. I think personally at Fastlane, Rusev, to be strong and pull off that win, could be quite inevitable. But if John Cena does win, if we say if John Cena wins in some manner, and then going into Fastlane, going into Fastlane, if we see John Cena win in some manner, maybe very just being in some way, some shape or form, Rusev gets disqualified, let's say. Then going into WrestleMania, and they have a rematch. You really don't know which way it's going to go, because if you have Rusev win at Fastlane, then you know John Cena's probably going to win. But if you have John Cena, say, get disqualified, you see Rusev get disqualified and John Cena win, well then at Fastlane, you're not as sure what's going to happen. But of course, John Cena will probably inevitably win at WrestleMania, because he is going to do it cleanly at WrestleMania and get his moment. But the way you lead up to that is quite important, and to keep everybody interested in this, you're going to have to be clever about it. The patriotic angle is probably quite a good idea. If they're going to go with it, they might have to risk a bit of John Cena's pride there. Well, obviously not, but it's a thing that's been done before. But a good, interesting spin could be something done with this. As with Triple H and Sting, I really am not sure about that. For me, it seems that the WWE are keeping Sting quite mysterious, but at the same time, they're keeping him in everybody's heads. Every Raw, and SmackDown, we're reminded of this guy. And going into Fastlane, I think we're going to get an even bigger reminder of what will happen at WrestleMania. Maybe we'll see a very big upset victory on Triple H, and then a story could even, instead of having it just mysterious the whole way to WrestleMania, and just build up without him being there, we could see Sting finally start appearing after Fastlane in those final weeks leading up to WrestleMania, and it will get even more really just packed, and the feud will get more heated, and everything will just start picking up towards WrestleMania, a way that could happen and possibly will happen. The other match, of course, was Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. I think they've been building it up quite interestingly. They've had that tag team match where Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan have to work together, and their true colours do come out. And we're going to see a lot more of that at Fastlane. I mean, the true personality of Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns could be let out, and we can see definitely a character change in either one of these people, which makes it such an interesting matchup. And the fact that we do not know how WrestleMania is going to go is going to make people want to tune into to Fastlane to see how everything unfolds and unfurls in this final weeks after Fastlane. We will see WrestleMania begin to take shape. The card is already looking to take shape, and we're definitely going to see immediately after WrestleMania more matches being revealed and everything of that sort. But of course, it's really, really interesting, and it's not going to get any less interesting. It's going to get more interesting as we move on. Okay, so that's my little WWE talk there. Let's go on and talk about something else. Okay, so that has been my wrestling sort of talk, and now my feature of my channel. So, lately I've been doing a lot of wrestling videos. Of course, I'm doing those NXT reviews, which I will keep up on a weekly basis. Recently, we've had TakeOver Rival, and we've also had Royal Rumble, and I've done a sort of pay-per-view Road to WrestleMania reviews. I said I was going to do those Raw reviews, which I probably may be doing in the upcoming weeks, and of course, so all those different sort of wrestling shows that go along, very unique, I'll probably try to make it quite unique in my reviews and not make them too long, around 25 minutes will be sort of the max time of those. And again, my upcoming podcast will sort of be centered around that slightly. I'll keep those world news segments are going to be on my podcast, of course. And any more things you'd like to see, like more videos or anything you want to see in my podcast, I will do that, of course. Okay, so yeah, talking about my channel, you can go into my playlist and check out stuff that I've done before. Just a little reminder to subscribe, like, favorite, comment below, everything you can do to support me, and anything I can do to entertain you and give you what you need. You all ask questions, you comment below, and that's the best thing you can do, really. And of course, like and give me a reminder of if you enjoyed the content. Okay, so yeah, those WWE reviews will definitely be coming up, of course. Well, I was talking about the network. I might talk about some more after this, just a little thing here, but again, those TV show reviews and book dramatic readings I'm probably going to keep on hold. The reason so for this is I don't want to be kidding. I'm just like sort of taking a little bit of break from all these videos, and I just like to do videos that I'm kind of interested in. I'm not as interested per se in doing those that often because maybe this channel is sort of uncovering itself as less of whatever. I feel like it's more about wrestling than anything else in that manner on this channel. It's called T-Fish 1, but again, I may change that name. I don't think it's a very marketable name. Yeah, I'm probably going to change that in the upcoming weeks. Sort of remarket myself, really. Try to get my word out there of my channel. I've only got 11 subscribers right now. I want to get more people watching, more people engaged, and more people comment below. I've got one video that's got 600 views. Obviously my most successful video, which is the Finn Balor documentary. So I'm going to try to do more stuff aimed at videos that haven't really been done before. So not much more, like, I know I'm going to keep up with doing those raw reviews and stuff, but I really want to focus on unique documentaries that haven't really been put up. And so that's where like my Tough Enough reviews come in, and interesting wrestling videos like that, or just unique stuff that's not being looked up as much. And so when people do eventually look it up, it's my entry comes up first. That's just a unique sort of way, be different from the other content on YouTube, to try and get your name out there, your word out there. And it's just one of those things that you have to work on, and I'm sort of learning the whole YouTube thing. I've been on for a few months, and the whole way that YouTube works, it's quite unique platform, and it's just a lot of ways of marketing yourself on YouTube these days, and some of the simplest ways are to be different than everybody else's content, and that's what I try to follow in what I do. And these podcasts are my opinions and stuff, so they're sort of like vlogs, they're sort of like anything really. This is just my honest opinion. Those reviews, I'll try to strictly keep them to whatever I'm talking about in that video, while these podcasts are just a special little thing where not a lot of people listen to it, but again, I can, without uncensored opinion on anything on my channel, anything I want to think about, I can talk about it and know that I'm not going to be limited to time or anything. But I want to try and keep these open and available for critic. But again, I want to keep up with these because they do give a good insight. I try to give you a good insight into my channel and what's going on. So definitely want to check out like anything that I say. In my opinion, I'll talk about it on this. If you comment below or give me some questions to ask or whatever you want to ask stuff, I'll definitely answer the stuff in these videos or whatever. Make a special Q&A video or something like that. But again, I really do like to keep up with these videos and make them so that they're getting as successful as possible. But more than likely, I'm just going to keep with doing the reviews and videos that I like to do, give my opinion on stuff, and reviewing stuff that has happened in the world of wrestling and TV. And yes, the basic content, of course, is coming from WWE. Now, anything else you want to talk about, you can comment below, of course. And what else should I talk about? Of course, I'm going to say is that keep watching and enjoying content, and be a loyal subscriber, and I will be subscribed back to you, because that's how I roll, and that's how I'm going to do it from now on. Okay, right, let's go back in and do a network talk. Yes, the WWE Network. I've been sort of mentioning this, of course, in lots of reaction videos and review videos. I mean, I'm not lots, but I've been a few. The WWE Network. And I've got it for free for February, and yeah, I'm somehow got myself roped into this. I mean, it was just a nice offer, really, of WWE to have this, and they're definitely, since branching out to UK and Ireland, they're doing a lot of free months and stuff, and I think they're getting pretty popular. They've passed 1 million subscribers on the network, and people's saying that they're going to like unsubscribe, and the whole unsubscribe movement after Royal Rumble really didn't work. So the WWE are happy at the moment, and they're getting a bit more successful, and they're enjoying the success they're getting from the network and what the network is bringing them. And basically, what the WWE are doing are focusing around the network. In my opinion, it is a great thing, and if you enjoy anything to do with the WWE, all aspects are covered in the network. Personally, if you like the regional stuff and all that, there's a lot of that, but really the originals, like TV shows, reality shows, if you're not really interested in the actual in-ring product, I wouldn't say it's too worth it now. No. You see, what you want to do in the network is, if you're watching those monthly pay-per-views and you really are a hardcore fan, or a fan that likes to catch up on everything, it's a great place to go to, and it's really cheap, or free even. And you definitely, if you want to look back at the history, it's one of the most best places to look at. And of course, those pay-per-views are what really sells the network. The originals are one of my favourite things as well. The Beyond Rings, the documentaries. You collect those documentaries, you can go watch it on this. And currently, the network is getting all those replays up there, and all the Raw replays, the SmackDown replays. They're slowly putting them on there. And I guess as the WWE evolves, their network is going to evolve as well. So the network is just a show of WWE today's in-ring product, the product outside the ring, and how the WWE are getting around the network just as a sign of everything. And I know a lot of people complain about like some of the content isn't there, Nitros, Raw's War episodes, whatever, all that old stuff is not there, or the lack of original products like original TV shows, whatever. For me, it is quite critiqueful of the WWE, but in a lot of respects, I do have to agree on the stuff they say. The thing is, though, I know there's stuff that's missing, but the whole what you get for what you pay what you get definitely overpowers what you pay, and for me, that's definitely the aspect of the WWE Network that comes through to me, and that's why, even though there's lots of things they can improve on, they've already given us something great, and you should not be giving out to this, or you should not be giving out. You should be more offering advice, and don't act in a way that that they wouldn't want you to, because it's a thing to respect it, a thing to love. The WWE Network is something that you should definitely look at if you're interested in that sort of thing. But if you're not, then don't get into it. Don't complain about it, because it's definitely a great thing and a great asset that we have, and not a lot of other people have this thing, where there's a network which shows so many things, and it's just great for all wrestling fans, really, that are interested in that whole thing. So, yeah, it's a great thing. But of course, you really just need to, get engaged in it if you want to watch it or whatever, and get it free this February. And of course, Fastlane is going to be on, so that's a great thing to see. And of course, I have other reaction videos and reviews you can look at as well. The WWE Network, in my opinion, at the moment, it's giving me a great, I don't know, maybe like 8.5 or 9 out of 10. But in between those things, it's great, and yeah, it's just something that to be admired and looked at as great thing. Okay, right, let's move on to top stories and breaking news. Well, like news stories that are coming out lately. It is Valentine's Day, and let's go in. Bin Laden asked men to ram diplomatic plane in midair, court hears. An American man has told a US court he was asked by Osama bin Laden in 1995 to kill Egypt's president by ramming his plane with his own in midair. Ihab Muhammad Ali testified in the trial in New York of Khaled al-Fawzi, who is accused of being one of Al-Qaeda's early leaders. He said, "It took me by surprise. I responded, well, wouldn't I be killing myself?" Mr. Ali, 22, said. Bin Laden answered, "Well, then you will be a martyr." The glimpse into the early days of Al-Qaeda, when Bin Laden had a private jet and was barely known to law enforcement officials, came amid the US government's presentation of evidence over the past 3 weeks against Al-Fawzi, a man portrayed by prosecutors as a key player in the terror group of when it was in its infancy. Al-Fawzi has pleaded not guilty conspiring to kill Americans in the 1998 bombings of 2 US embassies in Africa. The attacks in Kenya and Tanzania killed 224 people, killing a dozen Americans. Mr. Ali said he met his Bin Laden 25 years ago at an Al-Qaeda guest house in Pakistan around the time he pledged allegiance to Al-Qaeda. He said he also met Al-Fawzi, whom he identified in a court as a member of Al-Qaeda. In March 2001, he pleaded guilty to perjury, criminal contempt, and conspiring to kill U.S. nationals, and agreeing to cooperate with the prosecution. At a May 2009 sentencing, he received time served after spending a decade in prison. Ali said his children are U.S. resident. His wife is working to acquire permanent residency. He has worked as a transportation dispatcher and as a waiter in a restaurant since he released from prison. That's one news story I'm giving you. Sierra Leone imposes quarantine in capital after Ebola cases. Sierra Leone has imposed a quarantine in a fishing district in the capital city, Freetown, after at least 5 new Ebola cases were confirmed there, an official said today. The measure imposed yesterday affects the coastal district of Aberdeen, which contains both upmarket hotels and informal settlements, said O.B. Sisse, director of the Situation Room at the National Ebola Response Centre. At least some of the new cases included fishermen who had gone out on a boat but returned complaining of stomach pains and were sent to hospital for tests. Liberia, meanwhile, reported only 3 new cases. The United States announced on Tuesday that they were preparing to withdraw nearly all of its troops fighting Ebola in West Africa, leaving just 100 in Liberia to continue working with the country's military regional partners and U.S. civilians. The United Nations Children's Agency said yesterday the plan was still in place to begin reopening Liberia's schools next week after 7 months of closures caused by Ebola. Okay. And one more story, very depressing. 4 dead after 40-car motorway pileup. 4 people, including 3 men travelling in the same car, had been killed in motorway crashes as family hits the road for half-turn breaks. The 2 fatal crashes happened within an hour of each other this morning and caused traffic to come to a virtual standstill. A 40-vehicle pile-up in thick fog on the FM4 in Oxfordshire left 1 man dead and a person fighting for life and injured 40 more. Witnesses described scenes of carnage and as cars were left crushed and debris strewn across the road following the crash, which happened just before 8 a.m. An hour earlier at 6:46 a.m, a double-decker coach collided with a stationary car on the card shoulder on the M1 near Flitwick, killing 3 men in the Audi A3 and hospitalising a 4th. Meanwhile, Bedfordshire police said the man injured on the M1 is from Buckinghamshire and remains in the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford with serious illnesses. Okay. Right, so that's a lot of news stories there. And one more. Son sorry for drug behaviour. The son of actor Jackie Chan has apologised after asked for a second chance following his release from a 6-month jail sentence for allowing people to use marijuana in his apartment. Jackie Chan, 32, said to a news conference today that he was redirecting himself and to his family and entertainment business career. He said he had no excuse for the behaviour that led to his arrest in August, alongside Taiwanese actor Kokai and others. Chan and co tested positive for marijuana, and police seized their 100 gram of the drug from Chan's house. Chan's news conference was broadcast live on Chinese state broadcaster CCTV, illustrating the propaganda Beijing hopes to gain from the high-profile case amid a sweeping anti-drugs crackdown. Okay, there are my news stories for today on my podcast, the Hug Podcast number 6. We're here to focus on WWE and network. If you don't really like those things, I'm sorry about that, but that's the sort of stuff I like to talk about. Of course, my channel as well, those news stories and everything that goes along with the Hub Podcast. We're keeping evolving with this thing, and if you don't like it, well then, comment below and see what changes I can make to it. And I really do want to keep on with this podcast, so I hope you support it, guys, and give me information you need, and I will support you back. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for everything you give to me. Happy Valentine's Day. Share this video around, comment, favourite, like, and obviously subscribe down below and on the channel. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.